in this world both helps to dispel the obstacles for Dharma study and practices.
This is going to take you the pension and Sonja choose from Sanamto. Sonjanji then you is Sanamta so top with him.
So through these two practices, then one accumulates merits and also to achieve enlightenment.
That
and now the seventh limb or branch is dedication.
No, at the Kahedu, my Yukonga, something doing her service. No, Tombosir doing her thumb chair, maybe more. That and drug can chat at Chapalas of a yellow 200 chat, gave a dog, saw a queen, be gave a day, Takashi Kusanate, round down to cheat over Churmazene, round Peshamazene, something thumb chat. The
first verse of dedication is dedication to dispel all the sufferings of all sentient beings. One is dedicating all the merits that were accumulated through the previous limbs, such as making offerings, and the purpose of accumulating all those merit is to dispel all the sufferings of all sentient beings.
Then that's about those doing Sharana Saramana, but Tombo, now we do not human. And then in but three come to not human. Summa Urhong do not human.
And now there will be specific dedication prayers. The first one is dedication for relieving of illness. Second is relieving from the hunger and thirst, and the third one is relieving from the poverty.
Roa nebanam, chisi ne sujipato. Then da man chul, member nearly chul. Then dog never tastes of it, never see it or it was.
Here the dedication is, may I be nurse and may I be the healer or doctor, and may I be the actual medication until all the diseases are relieved or treated of all sentient beings.
Man sang the Bernard. Those are the numbers from somebody in the cable. Your car is in Chile. Yarbo Emerson and Chi Chocolate was a tea cable. Memo was not such a machine. Can't show you. Then Jabon Hubert, the Kangal Meba, Najute, Meba, no road, no secret. Jarwood and member. Not a member, she goes so calm. The member no girl. Nyaro he doesn't get shot to paint them and a thumb windows to do. Then I show you somebody called Nyar Chevan on the shot. Never tells us so, but it is. That are we, but it's mental church. No mental church.
And in this dedication, there is a dedication, may I become medicine for medicine to cure all the diseases. And there is one example. One time there is a king whose name is Lotus, and the place is called Kashi. And during that time, many people got sick, and someone requested to the king to cure the disease of the illness of their subject. And so then this king ordered to his doctor to cure the diseases. And so then the healer or doctor mentioned that there is only one cure, that is to provide the certain type of fish. It's called rohita. Rohita. Rohita is the type of fish. So if the fish meat from Rohita is given to all the sick people, then that will cure those disease. Because of that, then that Bodhisattva, it's one of the Jataka tales. So then the Bodhisattva who previous life of Buddha take birth as that particular fish, and through that fish meat then cure the disease.
Then they come to the heavy man. Said on come to chapate. Some or said on come only chapan there. Trepat on combine never start to recuse. And so now the dedication to dispel the thirst and hunger. One is dedicating that there is rain or heavy rain of food and actually, let me do it again. Dispelling the harmful of thirst and hunger through the rainfalls of water and the food. Rainfall refers to infinite food. Mugi karma parami se down serum come to karma parma se karma tene sanjena or dam minam tene setundun cha lo chu member mutuken chabala karma tamari te yonane nasa mu ongres yonane muge chambu yona matu there's some konuchi gon savjele yon to say arondo yari and the sung none mugi karva kya do then zamal metes sajumi kan chambu jumu yore di kables ke chambu kable da sonju sum kono se don kam to turchi.
There is a time of destruction, the final destruction of this world, and during that time, the lifespan of human being is like 10 years, about 10 years lifespan. But then before that kalpa or that time, there is a kalpa or time of starvation, and during that period, people suffer through extreme starvation, and so one is dedicating that one becomes the food at that time, at that such important time when there is extreme starvation.
Yoze kogunazo saka kose not so far. Ulbuti nana never never churches. Misepi tersa jo sai water, Yona Javun Zeta, yes, Talakarina, says Khenchen.
So now dedicating to dispel the poverty or lack of wealth. May one becomes inexhaustible treasure. Here treasure means either like king's treasure or a treasure under the earth. Meaning here treasure means it does not end. How much you take, there will be always something. So may one become unexhaustible treasure for people who are lack of wealth, and also one remains in front of all the sentient beings who suffer from poverty, and also they could obtain whatever things they need for their life, house, food, and so forth.
Doji Shungju Samba, Doji Jansen, Tapi, and Yusun, Seton Malande, Yaracheku Sum yesterday, Kintu Zumbu Tapi Malam, Shere Zich Tapi Malam, Doji Jansen Tapi Malams, Tinon and the Doji Jansen Tapi
Malam. Regarding the aspirational prayers, usually there are three types of aspirational prayers. The first one is the prayer of Kuntu Sampo or Samanda Bhartra's aspirational prayer. And then second one is Cheresik or Avalokiteshvara's aspirational prayer. And the third one is, in Tibetan, it's called Bodhisattva Doji Gyansen. And here, the third one, Bodhisattva Doji Gyansen's aspirational prayer. In terms of which accumulation is greater among the seven links, then making dedication or aspiration prayer is considered as the greatest wholesome deeds, because when you dedicate, then all the wholesome deeds that you have accumulated will bear the fruits. Especially if one's wholesome deed is dedicated with the association of selflessness or emptiness, then that particular type of wholesome deed is much greater than other which is not included the selflessness or emptiness.
Hiwala sundu yala dembatel sumayo re sumba jide tata nene sumba no yinri yala dance.
Shantideva mentioned that there are 3 types of limb practice, and this 7 limb is one of them.
Jide jona sumbi ndere diba jonse Jesu yironse dan tambi ore dame gamba che sumba yewa jamru che ngaba member samsi che tuba juba samsi che demba ngowa kanjo sumba do samsi.
So the second limb practice is according to the tantric practice, and in Tantra it explains 6 limbs. The first one is purification or confession, and second is rejoicing, and third one is realization, meditation of selflessness, and fourth taking refuge, and fifth cultivating wishing bodhicitta, and the last one is the last one is engaging bodhicitta. Seventh one is dedication. So from the tantric tradition, there are 7 limbs, and the last one is dedication.
Yangene mendabani palon kurwaton sowa devani palon ti chable jamdo don samse ni juko.
So the third limb is in this Bodhisattva way of life. It mentioned 7 limbs or branches, and so you delete the requesting for the turning Dhamma wheel and making supplication to remain Buddha's Bodhisattva. You add taking refuge and cultivating bodhicitta.
Yangla damba de tuja kana na tuna yores nimara saji sasum te sheju no tenga kibate so konga na tomote di no ne tijere chule che tena yangla damba she di chule chonjo sem damba de so na.
In terms of practice, reciting or practice of 7 limb is very important. But if you could not, first of all, encourage us to recite and engage with the 7 limbs practice at least one time a day, and sometimes it is lengthy, so you can select one verse from each 7 limbs, and so one recites and practices that, and then if one takes a bodhisattva vow, then that will be beneficial. So up to here we finished the preparatory phase of 7 limbs, and at this point Khenchen Rinpoche would like to share a biography of Shantideva.
Java Pandita me Bhutatanda saying the Pele Penumintri. Take a Sanju Gundava do Chitin. Shadow Kivalet Nanta Japat and the wound.
Be Buddha Zenda. There is an Indian Pandita whose name is Be Buddha Siddha. Once actually came to Tibet, and in his commentary there is a brief biography of Shantideva.
Hiwala Tunsa de Teres, Jalgal Hoshu Nangara Sasachi. No Koyachil Ted, Gujura Teshu, the recent. Kateremana Gumbaku.
The place where Shantideva was born in south, place called Nagara, and Khenchen Appey thinks that that is within the Gujarat state, and if it is incorrect, then Khenchen Appey has been informed that the Nagara is within the Gujarat state.
Jambar Kosa saying, Jambar Kosa says, the Seri Hivalate Shinti Varma says,
Shindi Varma.
Yeah.
There is a king whose name in Tibetan Jambar Kocha, and his prince was Shantideva, but at that time his name was Shindi Varma.
Yeah.
At that time his child name is Shindi Varma.
Telekom Jalbo Kurapse, Guru Chambo Chone, Jalbo Kurapse, Tradice, Kapchila, Gonda Zanam Shuni, Tene, Kungusake, Chuti Tol, and Jambi Ungude. Jambi Musumbari, then not Cherungi, they Lovan is Cherungi Loturi. Lovando, Lotu, Trichik to the Deba de Thousand Digma, his son, Zalam Shun.
And because Shantideva was prince, and there was arrangement or organization, someone is organizing to enthrone him as a king. But during that time, in his dream, he had a dream of Manjushri sitting on the throne, which will be Shantideva's throne. But in his dream, Manjushri seated on the throne and mentioned to Shantideva that I am your teacher and you are my student, and it is inappropriate to have the same seat, same throne for the teacher and the student.
There is a loju medeva Mumbai, the loju Demba in Bershanju Shamdayon, Kuntombo Gawase Gugusombi, Sonote, Yambi Unishu,
this dream is also a factual biography connected with his own life history. In this Shantideva's textbook, it also mentioned that the kindness, the cause for him to engage with wholesome deed is the kindness of Manjushri.
Then you might take Kong Amate. They come to schedule, two tables to do your body. Two tables to do the Amachu to do Kachi. Said to Amate, two tables in the city, or Tavu Hundu Silla.
And then one time his mother was pouring. One time his mother Amada Trichi. That's a Amada Trichi. Shiwale also. So, and his mother poured hot water on top of Shantideva when he was taking bath. So, and Shantideva asked, "Why are you pouring hot water on me?" And then his mother said, "This is hot water." And so then so then mother has mentioned to Shantideva that if you become a king, then definitely you will take rebirth in hell realm, because king's activity has to do lots of unwholesome deeds. So then Shantideva's mother mentioned to Shantideva that if you could not tolerate and bear the ordinary hot water, then there is no way to bear the sufferings of hell-realm being. So therefore, mother recommended to Shantideva to go to the east, where he could meet great teacher Manjushri, with whom he can study Dhamma. So then Shantideva also thought that what mother mentioned to him was factual information, and he thought that becoming king is harmful to oneself and others, and engaging with Dharma activity is beneficial to oneself and others.
Sama sayado tonya samno jurma to amangre sumbote hiwaji tension shunde ka kombo to dobu hiwaji shunye
so and then Shantideva took his horse and rode his horse towards the eastern direction, towards Bengal, and at that time he met a lady, and so then his horse was held by her, and so then Shantideva got off from his horse, and at that time Shantideva was very thirst and hungry, because he was completely focusing on what his mother told him instruction about that particular teaching for him. So because he's focusing completely on the teaching, he forgot to consume foods and water, so he was thirsty and hungry. So, in nearby that place there was spring water. This water is not drinkable and not safe to drink. So then he received water and safe water and food from this female.
Tena lama tela ke kusum tuk sungale yawandu yende chamudu te ba chamudu te kongre pugi she ta pugi she chuno ro non sikubare kongre pu ta pu so
and then Shantideva asked to this female. And so then this female mentioned that she has been studying with the teacher in that forest, in that area. And then Shantideva also responded that he would also like to see this teacher. So Shantideva finally met this same teacher who was very or who had all the qualifications of physical speech and transcendental wisdom, and because he felt that this is a great teacher, so he made offering not only his horse but himself to this teacher, and then requested to bestow teachings.
Tene kongge lama de chu dong se kong yan ring bo le tene gam jap de ba le ka che lo chu ni so de te kong tingen ze mo bo top jam bi yong xian la top.
And after that Shantideva engaged with intensive meditation, and some resources mention that he spent 12 years. So at that time, Shantideva received the blessings from Manjushri. And then the same teacher recommended to Shantideva to go to the central land at Magadha. So, and at Magadha, Shantideva benefited many sentient beings, and also he became a bodyguard or guard of the Magadha kingdom. So.
Tendeji member made te kon jabu zi chenbo che guru ka ke ma ga se jabu yin tu che cheron kusum ti ga te king zo ga ba de dra ji lo tu na pen do ma res mo ba khu che jabu le tene jabu rad ta gu te kon ri ji bu le rad ta ma sum che me kon ga le kusum te so ke rad no te tene kong sal evdu hewa le sombare kong rajute tang men se jabu usuk che tang gu che ta tang gu na me gyanda me sa charon chi bul tang tene ko jabu chi bu chode 다처럼 미 야지가 미지 롱게다로 시세 때는 미지가 지게다도 라드들 서르참 효지 대체매 미드 살아서 자루미 때는 자고 하래시 대바치네 대누바 참보렌도 자소르셰 대바참보 휴셰 버리
and while he was personal God or God for the kingdom, he only owns a sword, but it is made from wood, so it is a wooden sword. Because he has a wooden sword, then other gods at the kingdom experience jealousy or envy, something, and other gods trying to create a division between Shantideva and the king. And so the other gods mentioned to king that Shantideva has only wooden sword, so that wooden sword may not protect and prevent from any harmful situation. So that led to king to check all the swords that are possessed by the gods, and so this king checked with everyone, and then king reached to the Shantideva's turn, and so king asked to show his sword, and Shantideva refused to show his sword to king, and king was very persistent and very forceful to him that he should show his sword. And then Shantideva mentioned that that a king should he wants to show only with the king and no other guards around him. So he requested and proposed that, and so king agreed that he will see his sword by himself. And then Shantideva requests to king to cover one of his eyes in order to see his sword. And so then king agreed, and when king saw his wooden sword by one eye, because the wooden sword was very, very powerful, that caused the loss of king's one side. In other words, his one side or eyeball came out. And then king realized that that wooden sword is very, very powerful, and admired Shantideva.
Todako Nalendane Damaku Shivalhasaki Menta. Tene Lojono. Tene Tusamon Chade Gam Jab to Gabari. Sadu on Gam, Yedu on Gam, Chanjam Chedu on Gam, John Chedu, Mitsoga, Sadu Neju Jomba Chingushe, Mingling, Buzukus, saying Chavaris, Sandal Chosum.
So, and then Shantideva went to Nalanda University, and at Nalanda University he received the vow, and then he was given the name of Shantideva, and then Shantideva studied at the Nalanda University, and Shantideva spends most of his time doing meditation practice. So Shantideva will be doing meditation when he eats, or when he goes outside, or when he sleeps. So Shantideva integrate meditation practice his whole life activity. Because of that, other students thought that he was just or simply eating and walking and sleeping and not engaging with Dharma practice. So the Nalinda other students call him someone who is very inactive, just eats and walks and sleeps.
Today, Ganamba Momo Maga Chana, Tande Ganamba si Dikung and Remandu, the name Shekuk, the Dangu, Dan Lala Young, Jabu Seri, Kawagum, just a tab Shekuk she, tab the Chontu Dawala, Chu gave ready as the Chu gave ready go, you know, Conon Chu Sun Shekman, just a Conon Yurutan Ogre.
And because of his external behavior as very, very inactive, and then the Sangha members of Nalinda University were not pleased of Shantideva's external behaviors, and Sangha members thought that he was violating the rule and regulations of the Nalinda Nalinda University, and then this Sangha had a meeting or had a discussion to expel him from the Nalinda University. And then some of them mentioned or share the thought that he Shantideva is a prince, and they cannot really expel him. And so then other individuals came up some kind of skillful means how to expel Shantideva from Nalinda University. And so then they came out this idea. During the first month, traditionally students need to, or individuals need to give teaching. And so if we ask Shantideva to give teaching during the first month, then Shantideva may not able to give teaching and not able to fulfill his academic responsibility, and that will indirectly or naturally force him to leave the Nalinda University, thinking that he may not able to give teaching. And then he was requested to give teaching, and he responded that he doesn't know Dhamma teachings. And then there was a very, very high throne, Dharma throne, and there is no stairs. But somehow he was able to climb on that very heavy, very high throne, and sat on that throne. And then he was requested to give specific teaching that has been never taught before. And then Shantideva actually composed 3 philosophical texts, and then he thought that he will give the teaching of this Bodhisattva way of life, and then Shantideva began this particular text, beginning from that he has not, that there is nothing new teachings that I can taught, so forth at the end of the teaching.
Then here level on the concept no umi thoughts as at another level to jambi on the corner sat on book to over see for rest kiwala. There kiwala judgment get chosen. Kuzu judgment get share soon the chason to the position.
So then basically Shantideva read his actual textbook from the beginning to the end, and then at the 9th chapter, the wisdom chapter, there is one particular verse which says that the reality of phenomena is non-existence and free from the non-existence. During that time, then Manjushri had a vision, direct vision of Manjushri, and at that time Shantideva reached the first bhumi of Bodhisattva path, and at that time his physical body disappeared, but his speech can be still heard.
Then Javana Kong user the Tadutana Kong user Komba Komino Yun Sumti Bet over this. Yun Sumti better over it, and Keranande. The Yun Sumbo the Chabra Shepherd is.
And then all the Sangha members at that time received all the 3 philosophical textbooks composed by Shantideva, and then everyone declared that Shantideva is a great scholar.
That thing is a time travel to the Mangatsa.
So Khenchen Rinpoche thought that we may have passed our regular time and might violate our schedule a little bit. Yes.
Engaging with learning reflection. Engaging with learning reflection. More clarification about
The Töpadan Sambe Kor Geshe now Töpadan Sambe Kor.
Sheba Kayari.
The Kor Geshe Tes now.
Two said Floman Töpadan. Better tone Keba there's a cheapery. Donna Yangel then Keba to be here of the
hearing or learning and hearing are both same category. That means one gains knowledge depending on others, or depending upon other is the first one, hearing or learning. So learning through the textbook or learning from a teacher, both are considered as a learning or hearing.
Then Kaza Tito Sambasing the social somnaton Hebachi. Then there is a social summer member. Jumsen Tune, Jumsen Yondag Tune, Gisabo Hishona, there is some Jung here of such.
So, and then the second one is the first one is wisdom of learning. The second one is wisdom of reflection. Wisdom of reflection means after receiving teaching or learning about the teaching, then one reflects and contemplates on that meaning, not just reflecting on the certain topic, but through reason. Not only just a reason, but through a valid reason, then one gains more realization and understanding, and that is called wisdom of reflection.
Then gam sengadet so thought chat savi danda di dole. Main basene yona yondo gam dedu. Then yo danda ji ko so herap ji che ko. Then gam ju herap.
So, and after the wisdom of reflection, then one focuses on the meaning that one obtained from the reflection and learning, and due to or through getting used to with that meaning again, then that also brings another form of realization or understanding, and that is called wisdom of meditation.
There's a pen send you never see tanda yina. Tell a pen Jalsal G. Lozum Mamado today, and Kuala to Mandaba Redo yesterday. Koju Mombo, Koa Yoru Yoru yesterday.
City Jig Tola.
To some Gamsum Grumbak.
Honest.
Kahe to what your member made with the tea cover. Kajino Samba yet. Kahe Gamba, Toba Yoni, Samba Yoni, Gamba Yonik, when a day you told which is soon to such a lambda te Gamjung, Yong Tuna, here Gugu, or some yours. There are no send you to Yong Tuna, here and do some. Gum shall not send you to another 10 days over here. Go to yesterday.
So, furthermore, one can actually study one verse or one stanza out of Shantideva's textbook, and then integrating, and then going through the complete process of these three wisdoms. First, the wisdom of learning, then wisdom of reflection, and then wisdom of meditation. So, not just learning and not continuing the following two, reflection and the meditation. If one completes these three wisdoms, then one will gain greater realization experience. For example, Denshung Tugu Rinpoche one time commented to Khenchen Rinpoche regarding the Lamte teaching. Lamte teaching requires experiential meditative or experiential meditation. Lamte teaching and experience need to gain through one's own meditative experience, and this Shantideva's textbook also requires not only the first two wisdoms, but requires more meditative experience. Then one can gain more realization and experience.
What is the bodhicitta that does not belong to Mahayana?
Bodhicitta?
That does not belong to the Mahayana.
Bodhicitta, which is not Mahayana?
Yeah, because you mentioned the bodhicitta of the Pratyeka Buddha, for example, so what it is?
So do you want to hear more about Sharvakas and Pratyeka Buddha bodhicitta difference with the Mahayana?
Yes.
Okay. The Thegwasum Changju, Thegwasum Semje Sumbu the Yanja Chuksu. mandawati.
Mandawati.
Semje, Nyentuve semje, Ranja semje, then Tewachimbi semje sumbi mandawati anja sum.
Adege, Yellow Rondang do, Niento good never top goes on. They tame in some she ronja top goes on a tame in some she. Yan and those on jet top goes on a tasting some.
So, the Sharvakas bodhicitta is if someone cultivated a mind to achieve Sharvakas Buddhahood for the benefit of oneself, then that is Sharvakas bodhicitta. And then if someone cultivates bodhicitta for oneself in order to achieve the Pratyeka Buddhahood, then it is Pratyeka Buddha bodhicitta. And then if someone cultivates bodhicitta for the benefit of all sentient beings in order to achieve Buddhahood, then there is Mahayana bodhicitta.
But we learn that bodhicitta actually is equivalent to enlightenment, the term Janchuk bodhicitta. So how come it can be with the Shravaka, because the enlightenment is not the same, it's not the Janchuk.
So you are saying
how the term can be the same with bodhicitta?
And
because we learn that bodhicitta is like equivalent to enlightenment
that
of the Mahayana.
That's so. Morang Kozula Changju Gisem da any Sanji ni Chig coin, sorry.
Tinge ni.
Hola. The Chig coin, the Tanda Kenamji Nyendube Changju Gisem Ranger Changju Gisem Shedu more true is.
Those two. Teaching sent the Chongju Chotu Segar back.
That's all.
Seguya said the Chongju Chotu Semji.
That's all. The Mahayana bodhicitta is not only just called Mahayana bodhicitta, but it is called spring bodhicitta, and that distinguishes from the two other bodhicitta. Any other?
Zonam de Tanje Zubani, Tone Yibi Dana, Chagana Je Banon Tuba, Zibi, Zolan, Roman. Chungju Tsambi Dambi, Choga Kevikam, Tele Jorwa Mugi Ji Sum Yefinone. Then under the sentence, Chungju Tsambi Dambi Choga Tele Choga Kevikam.
In terms of outline, it is about the rites or methods how to cultivate bodhicitta.
Tell Jorwa Yanla then Shet of it, Ta Lojong Sem Jonga, Sunju Sempi Lamle Sem Jonga, Malam Taba, Tanda Chibati, Tandaju to Malam Sum.
Lojong Anche.
Lojong Sam Johnson Chiba. Malam Todas
Malam Chiba.
Malam Sum Jibu. Lojong Sum Sanan.
So, within the preparatory phase, it has 7 limbs or branches, and at this point we have completed the 7 limbs, and the next to the 7 limb is thought transformation or mind training for the benefit of others, and also there's aspirational prayers which are similar, have a similar meaning.
Malam sumbote choga nando yin sanan jiyamda yona ngugi yin sanan jiyada cheba yamane deba khayen nando sum khayen ngugi sum
Kem stai desnga gotamso
되게 마음 숨지 여러와
만남다
뭐
that's all.
손주 처음에 동부 양라 덴바세 봐 양라 덴바 타타도 되네 마음 숨자 루룽자 동제 동기 지지 제버리고 서는 마음 숨
that's all.
되네 뒤제래 손주 처음에 담바 캐는 숨쉬게 그냥 동부 교기에서 캐는 숨
that's all.
그래서 뒤 마음 숨데
that's all.
대세리 말해. 언어기래 단선도 비게세 만원 숨세. 되네 domcha도 이게세. 초가 제동되어도 만원 숨 차르르르 잡. 되네 담발렘 비치데 차숨 졸고 해. 만원 숨세도 변화 domcha